He want to do.
Terence Crawford's 37. Devin Heaney said he thinks he would like him to retire. Do you agree with that statement?
He can do whatever he wants to do. He's been dominating for a long time too, so he can do whatever he wants to do. I would like to see him retire because it would be hard for anybody to top that, and they definitely put him on the top 5 list, and he'll be able to stay there because he hasn't been beat.
Last question. Is Terence Crawford the greatest of all time?
Absolutely the greatest of all time.
Where does he rank?
I don't know, but he's not the greatest of all, absolutely greatest of all time.
Roy Jones Jr. has thrown a curveball into the narrative surrounding Terence Crawford's next move. While most fans expect Crawford to chase a blockbuster Canelo rematch, Roy believes Bud should be looking elsewhere, toward a path that speaks to legacy more than headlines. According to Roy, there's one gap in Crawford's resume that only a single fighter can fill: Erislandy Lara. In Roy's eyes, this matchup isn't just about collecting another title. It's about sealing the final chapter of Crawford's career the right way. Lara represents the one challenge Crawford hasn't crossed off: the stylistic threat that could complete his story. And Roy Jones Jr. is making it clear why Lara is the missing piece in the bigger picture.
As Canelo Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier, and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there, take that blueprint, and do even more with it.
To understand why Roy Jones Jr. is pushing this particular idea, you have to zoom out and look at the pattern of Terence Crawford's career. Bud has stacked titles at 135, 140, 147, and 154 pounds, and then shocked the world by jumping straight to 168 to take Canelo's crown. But in doing all that, he skipped one entire chapter, the 160-pound middleweight division. And for a boxing historian like Roy Jones Jr., that omission stands out. Roy believes that returning to claim a middleweight title isn't a backward step, it's a calculated legacy move. He describes it as closing the loop. If Crawford captures a strap at 100, the run becomes seamless. Every division accounted for. And the case for him being the standout fighter of this era becomes almost
I don't know. I mean, I think he may want to go get a middleweight title because he skipped over that. He went to junior middleweight. No, he went junior middleweight, then went super middleweight. So he may go back and just capture middleweight title to close the gap, like I wish I would have did with the cruiserweight title. So I think he does that, and that's it.
The middleweight division has been in a strange limbo recently, overshadowed by the star power sitting one weight class above it. But that quiet stretch might be exactly why Roy Jones Jr. is zeroing in on it. Roy sees 160 pounds as the ideal battlefield for Crawford because the division is controlled by tough, capable champions who hold belts, but not the kind of blockbuster names who can dictate terms the way Canelo can. That dynamic flips the power structure. If Crawford steps in, he isn't entering as someone chasing a payday or pleading for an opportunity. He walks in as the proven star, the guy with the momentum, the one calling the shots. Roy views it as the clearest route to adding another historic milestone with minimal political resistance, a chance for Crawford to sweep up a division that's ripe for the taking while padding his legacy at the same time.
I did want to ask you about Terence Crawford as well.
Yep.
A lot going on with him at the moment. No one knows his next move.
Right.
What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60, you close it all. That's fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo? I guess. What would you like to see in the future
I
for
don't
him?
know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really, I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or close the door because Canelo's done way more than that.
For this is where the timeline starts to get really intriguing. The middleweight landscape may look unclear at the moment, but everything comes into focus on December 6, 2025. That's when the WBO IBF Janibe Alim is scheduled to face WBA champion Erislandy Lara in a major unification showdown. But this fight is more than a simple unification. It's essentially the matchup that determines Crawford's ideal target. Roy Jones Jr.'s entire suggestion depends on who emerges victorious. On one side is Janibek, the feared puncher from Kazakhstan who many contenders have quietly steered away from. On the other is Lara, the cunning Cuban veteran, the oldest active champion in the sport, and a fighter who still uses angles and ring IQ to make opponents miserable. Whoever leaves with 3 belts after that night instantly becomes the opponent. Roy believes Crawford should zero in on the final piece needed to complete the legacy.
Age-wise, of course, everybody's going to say Erislandy Lara because he's 40. Mm-hmm. But I would never come out of my mouth and call Erislandy Lara a weak link. Mm-hmm. I think there's no elite fighters at 160.
Although Janibek is the younger, more explosive force in the division, there's a growing belief that the opponent Roy Jones Jr. is quietly hinting at, if the cards fall right, is Erislandy Lara. Lara represents the last of an era, a veteran craftsman whose understanding of timing, distance, and angles mirrors Crawford's own technical brilliance. A matchup between the two would be less of a brawl and more of a tactical showcase. A southpaw chess match that hardcore boxing fans would savor. If Lara manages to weather Janibek's power and walk away with all the belts, he becomes an ideal legacy opponent for Crawford. He's been a relevant name for more than a decade. He's shared the ring with the sport's biggest stars, and he famously troubled Canelo in their fight. Beating Lara would allow Crawford to add another subtle but meaningful statement to his resume, another quiet reminder in the ongoing comparison. With Canelo, I handled the man who once gave you problems.
Bud's like my brother. I've been with him for the past probably 7 camps. He's been taking 0 shortcuts. He's always 100% to himself. He never cheats himself, so. We're just in a routine. We know what happens. We come out here, just pass the time working out. Pass as fast. You work out so many times a day and get to it. You're working the whole time.
Crawford isn't sitting back and waiting for opportunities to fall into his lap. He's already positioning himself for what's next. At the recent WBO convention, he made that very clear. Crawford showed up, took a seat right next to members of Janibek Alimkhanuly's camp, looked straight into the camera, and sent a message. I've got my eyes on you. Whether it was a serious warning or lighthearted jab is up for interpretation. But one thing isn't. Crawford is paying close attention to the middleweight landscape. His focus has already shifted toward one, and he's making it known that he's ready to step into that division when the moment is right.
My guts say the same thing. I'm gonna sit down with my team, and we're gonna discuss what's next in the future for Terence Crawford. And who knows? I might go down to 160.
We're here next, looking for you, looking for December 6th. How you gonna do it?
I got my eyes on you, Janibek.
Moment makes one thing clear. Roy Jones Jr.'s prediction is already unfolding in real time. Crawford is actively circling the middleweight throne, watching the champions at 160 with intent. He understands that whoever wins on December 6th will be holding the gateway to a 6th world title, and he's letting them know he's coming to claim it. But the second part of Roy Jones Jr.'s advice is the one that's causing the biggest debate. Forget Canelo. Move on. Roy believes a second fight with Alvarez offers more danger than reward for Crawford's long-term legacy. To him, Canelo has already cemented his career, but he's also aging, recovering from elbow surgery, and showing the natural wear of a long career at the top. From Roy's perspective, Crawford already solved the Canelo puzzle once. Running it back doesn't elevate his resume. If Crawford loses, people say the first win was a fluke. If he wins again, critics dismiss it as beating an older, injured version of Canelo. In Roy Jones Jr.'s eyes, the rematch looks less like a legacy move and more like a financial one. A hype Laura Ward trap wrapped in hype.
To catch up at Canelo Crawford, I just want to get your reflections on that fight first.
It was a great fight by Crawford. Fought a very smart fight, just like I thought he would. The only problem I had was I was worried about his shoulder because some stuff came out about his shoulder being sore. So I didn't know about that. But if he didn't have any injuries, I knew it would be an easy walk for him.
Are you surprised by just how kind of confident and comfortable Terence was in there at all?
No, not at all. Because if you watch Canelo struggles with guys that can box. Terence can box from both sides, left-handed or right-handed. So how could you be surprised?
So there's a lot of talk about what next for both men. With Canelo Alvarez, where do you think he goes from here?
I don't know. I think they're trying to have a rematch, so I don't know.
Do you think he can right the wrongs in a rematch?
I don't think so, no.
Roy wants Crawford to pursue legacy, not just another payday. And the true milestone lies in the missing middleweight title, not in a repetitive rematch. The implications are enormous. If Crawford follows Roy Jones Jr.'s guidance and captures a 160-pound world title, he would enter a rarefied club. He'd stand alongside legends like Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya, one of the very few fighters in history to claim major belts in 6 different weight classes. That's the kind of achievement that doesn't just mark greatness, it immortalizes it. Unlike the fleeting cash from a Canelo rematch, this is a legacy that endures. Roy knows it firsthand. He himself leaped from middleweight to heavyweight in pursuit of history, and he sees the same hunger in Crawford. That's why he's pushing for the 6th belt, to ensure that when the story of boxing is written, Terence Crawford's name will stand alone, unchallenged. On the page,
Right, but in terms of a fantasy fight, if you'd have ever shared the ring with a 168 version of Terence Crawford, would that have been an intriguing matchup?
Not really. I like Terence. Terence is a very good fighter, but Terence grew up on Roy Jones. It's hard to tell you these guys are going to whoop Roy Jones. They grew up and they still asking questions to Roy Jones about how he did things. So they don't fully understand Roy Jones yet either. So it's hard to beat Roy Jones if you don't fully understand him yet. You understand me? So, I mean, it's cool. He's a great fighter, don't get it wrong. And it would have been an intriguing fight because he has a heart and he has confidence. And he's a very challenging guy. That's what I like about him the most. That's why I knew he'd beat Canelo, because he stands up to the challenge. So he would have been something to deal with for a few rounds earlier. But I was a different guy. I was much faster than 90% of the people I fought. You understand me? So it's like, with my speed level and with the precision and things, even him. I had him training yesterday. I watched him put together some 4 and 5 punch combinations, and I think it shocked him because of how quick he can do it. So it's not about necessarily talent. It's talent too, but you gotta have know-how with talent. I had know-how along with talent. That's what this kid had.
Terence Crawford now stands at a pivotal crossroads in his storied career. One route points toward a huge payday in a replay of his previous battle with Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but it's still, when you look at it, it's still excuses. Like I said before the fight, every one of my biggest fights, I say, I'm gonna be prepared for the excuses. When you so great and you so much ahead of your competition, they look at the fighters that you fight and say they nobodies because how much you beat them by or the level of skills that you oppose against them. So when I fight this guy, it's all he was a nobody. When I fight this guy, all he was washed. When I fight this guy, it's an excuse, So who you want me to fight? I beat this guy, it's an excuse. I beat this guy, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really gonna give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. We really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, and the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, so I just think, when you that much better than the competition, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man.
The other path, the one Roy Jones Jr. highlights, points straight to the 160-pound division, an opportunity for Crawford to complete a flawless march through the weight classes. The division's fate will be shaped on December 6th, when Lara and Janibek clash for the belts. Crawford is already watching closely, ready to move on the victor. If he takes this step, he won't just add another title, he could become the only fighter in history to conquer 6 different weight classes. The question remains, will he follow the guidance of a boxing legend, or will the lure of another Canelo payday prove irresistible? Time is running out, and the middleweight division is poised for a dramatic shakeup.
I'm not gonna judge Crawford over his last performance from Canelo, because I don't care what a person say, they could say that Canelo's washed up, they say this, they say past his prime, yada yada yada. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how he executed the plan and how he neutralized the threat. So he did a phenomenal job with that. Bowman came up with a great game plan for that. I really believe that Janibek can get outboxed. I think he's going to get outboxed. He goes into 160. It's all going to determine on how he look against Lara. Because Lara is a crafty southpaw. And remember, I said this to you before with William Skull and Canelo. I said if he struggles against William Skull and he boxes him, it's going to just keep the blueprint solid for Crawford. So it's one of those things. So Crawford is a nice southpaw. He's solid. He knows how to utilize a lot of things. And it's like little details that maybe some of the casuals don't see, like how he positioned his foot, how he made Canelo smother his shots and still gave Canelo better exchanges in the inside. It was a lot of high caliber. Like you can tell why he deserves to be in that stage. But I got him boxing Janibek, and then after that, just walk away.
Well done. Right, so what's next for both fighters? Let's start with Terence Crawford. Where does he go? He's just stepped up to 168 pounds and beat quite conclusively Canelo Alvarez there, and there's no one really now at super middleweight for him to test. Benavidez, he's gone up to light heavyweight. There's no one really in there. We saw Skull against Canelo, and Skull was quite slow and couldn't do much. I know Canelo stood off and didn't really stick it on him, but Skull showed no ambition. It's not a fight we want to see. I think really the only fight for both of these guys, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, is the rematch. Because where does Canelo go from here now? He's got a guy stepping up from welterweight, serving him up a bit of a whooping, because that's what it was. And now he's got, like, where does he go? He can't really compete up at light heavyweight because Bivol's done him. Benavidez has gone up to there now, and I don't think that's a fight he's going to fancy. I feel like a lot of people are saying he swerved that Benavidez fight, so I don't think he's going to want to go up to light heavyweight and fight him. So it's like the only sensible option, or the only real option, is the rematch. And that's the same for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's now 168 pounds. Who does he fight? Who does he go for next? It's difficult. There's no other real big names. I mean, there's a kid in England called Hamza Shiraz who's tapping on the door for something big. And I had a chat with him yesterday, and he's talking about the Canelo fight, and he'd take that. But realistically, is Canelo Alvarez or Terence Crawford going to want to jump in with Hamza Shiraz? I mean, Shiraz has got a great future ahead of him. I think he's going to do really well. But he's not in that mix, is he? If he gets an opportunity, go for it. I don't think Crawford would be interested. Canelo, it does nothing for him. So these two, really, the only fight for him is the rematch.
Is Canelo done after this? And if he's not, he has 2 more fights with Turki Al-Sheikh. What other 2 fights can we see from him?
When it's funny because when people ask me, are fighters done or this and that, I could never answer for a fighter if they're done or not, because it's a very personal decision from the fighter, including Canelo. As much as I hate him, actually, I don't hate, I just don't care for him. But if he wants to fight again or if he doesn't, that's obviously his decision. I have to respect that. So, but obviously, look, again, Crawford just took him to school. That's basically it. That's the bottom line. I mean, Crawford is older than Canelo, so we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, oh, well, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure him out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford, and I really don't know where Canelo goes, seriously.
That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our future uploads. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.